Camera flashes explode in my face like tiny grenades. I'm standing in the middle of the ballroom, frozen, while my mother-in-law circles me like a shark who's smelled blood. Beatrice Ashford holds her champagne glass delicately, her red lips curved into a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. "Oh, sweetie," she says loud enough for everyone to hear. "Did you actually make this yourself?" Her fingers pinch the delicate lace of my sleeve, and I want to slap her hand away. "It looks like you stitched together old curtains from a yard sale." Laughter ripples through the crowd. Troy's family, his college friends, people I've never even met. They're all holding up their phones, recording this moment, probably already thinking about which social media platform to post it on first. My face burns. My hands shake. I look for Troy, my husband of exactly 3 hours, and find him standing near the bar with his cousins. He's looking at the floor. Not at me. Not at his mother. Just away. Beatrice touches the lacework again, her nose wrinkling like she's smelling garbage. "Honey, there are rental places for people on a budget. You didn't have to embarrass my son like this." That's when something inside me cracks clean through. My name is Sophia Kane. Well, it was Kane. Now it's technically Ashford, though after tonight I'm seriously questioning that decision. I'm 26 years old, an art teacher at Riverside High School, and apparently, I just made the biggest mistake of my life by marrying into the Ashford family. 6 months ago, this wedding felt like a dream come true. Troy proposed on a beach at sunset, got down on one knee in the sand, told me I was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. I believed him. I designed my wedding dress myself because that's what I do, I create things. I'm an artist. The dress took me 6 months to make, every single stitch done by hand. The lace? That's from my mother's wedding veil. She died when I was 19, and that veil was the only thing I had left of her. I cut it apart carefully, preserved every thread, and reconstructed it into something new. Something that honored her memory while celebrating my future. When I showed Troy the finished dress 2 weeks ago, he'd smiled and said it was perfect. I should have known better. I should have seen the hesitation in his eyes. Beatrice never liked me. From the first dinner at the Ashford estate, yes, they call it an estate, not a house, she made it clear I wasn't good enough. An art teacher, she'd said, like the words tasted bad. How quaint. She'd asked about my family, and when I explained my parents were gone and I'd put myself through college with scholarships and 3 part-time jobs, her smile had turned to ice. Self-made. How American. It wasn't a compliment. Over the months of wedding planning, she'd tried to take over everything. She wanted to hire her designer, her florist, her caterer. She wanted the wedding at the country club, not the small garden venue I'd dreamed of since I was a little girl. Troy kept saying, "Just let her have this one thing, babe. It makes her happy." But it was never just one thing. It was everything. The only battle I won was the dress. I refused her designer, refused the appointment at the bridal boutique, refused to let her turn me into some cookie-cutter version of what she thought an Ashford wife should be. And now, standing in this ballroom with 200 people laughing at me, I'm paying the price for that defiance. The reception continues around me like I'm not even there. Beatrice has moved on to her friends, probably telling them about my tragic fashion sense. I catch pieces of conversation as I stand frozen by the head table. Poor Troy, married beneath him. That dress, though. My hands grip the edge of the table so hard my knuckles turn white. Troy finally approaches, but he doesn't look at me. He looks past me, over my shoulder, anywhere but my eyes. "Soph," he says quietly. "Mom didn't mean it like that." I stare at him. She called my dress yard sale curtains. In front of everyone. How else could she have meant it? He shifts uncomfortably. "She just has particular taste. You know how she is." "Yeah," I say, my voice hollow. "I know exactly how she is. What I don't know is why you're defending her instead of your wife." He flinches. Good. But he still doesn't apologize. He just squeezes my shoulder awkwardly and walks away. I'm standing there alone in my embarrassing dress when I notice someone watching me from across the room. A man in his 50s, silver hair, expensive suit, standing near the windows. He's not laughing. He's staring at my dress with an intensity that makes my skin prickle. When our eyes meet, he mouths two words, "Don't move." The man crosses the ballroom with purpose, weaving through clusters of guests who are still whispering about me. Up close, he's distinguished, sharp cheekbones, kind eyes, a presence that commands attention without demanding it. He stops 3 feet away and just looks at me, studies me. His eyes travel over every inch of my dress, and I fight the urge to cover myself. "Who made this?" he asks, his accent faintly French. I swallow hard. "I did." His eyebrows lift. "You designed and constructed this yourself?" I nod, not trusting my voice. He steps closer, gesturing to the sleeve. "May I?" I nod again. His fingers trace the lacework with a gentleness that makes my throat tight. This is how someone should touch art, with reverence, not disgust. "The technique," he murmurs. "This is a la salle lace construction. Needle lace. Do you understand how rare this is? How few people in the world can still do this by hand?" I find my voice. "My grandmother taught my mother. My mother taught me before she died." He looks up sharply. "You learned this from family tradition?" "Yes." He steps back, his expression something between shock and excitement. "My name is Vincent Moreau. I'm a fashion designer. And this," he gestures to my dress, "this is extraordinary. Vincent Moreau. The Vincent Moreau. I've seen his work in Vogue, in the Met exhibits, on red carpets at the Oscars. He's a legend. And he's standing in front of me, calling my dress extraordinary. Behind him, I see Beatrice watching us, her face twisted in confusion. She's trying to figure out who this man is and why he's talking to me." Vincent pulls out a business card. "I'm in New York for a conference. I leave tomorrow. But I want you to call me. This dress," he shakes his head, almost laughing. "This dress is museum quality. The world needs to see your work." I take the card with trembling fingers. "Your mother-in-law is an idiot," he adds, not bothering to lower his voice. "This isn't cheap. This is priceless." Then he walks away, leaving me standing there with his card clutched in my hand like a lifeline. Beatrice appears at my elbow immediately. "Who is that?" she demands. I look at her, really look at her, and see her for what she is. Scared. Insecure. Threatened by anyone who doesn't fit her narrow definition of worthy. Someone who knows the difference between price and value, I say. Then I walk away, head high, still wearing my yard sale curtains. And for the first time tonight, I smile. The rest of the reception is a blur. I go through the motions, cutting the cake, the first dance, throwing the bouquet. But I'm not really there. I'm thinking about Vincent Moreau's words. Museum quality. Priceless. Extraordinary. Troy and I leave for our honeymoon suite at midnight. In the car, he finally speaks. "Mom feels bad about what she said." I stare out the window. "No, she doesn't." "She does. She wanted you to look perfect." "I did look perfect," I say quietly. "My dress was perfect. She just couldn't see it." He doesn't respond. At the hotel, he falls asleep within minutes, exhausted from the day. I lie awake beside him, still in my dress because I can't bear to take it off yet. I pull out Vincent's card and stare at it in the darkness. Tomorrow, we're supposed to fly to Hawaii for 2 weeks. But all I can think about is that card. About someone seeing my work and calling it art. About being valued instead of mocked. I don't sleep. I just lie there, listening to Troy snore, feeling the weight of a marriage that's already broken. And I make a decision. When we get back, I'm calling Vincent Moreau. Whatever happens next, I'm done shrinking myself to fit into Beatrice Ashford's world. Hawaii is beautiful and horrible. Troy is attentive, buying me flowers, taking me to nice dinners, trying to make up for the wedding without actually acknowledging what went wrong. On day 3, we're having breakfast on our balcony when his phone rings. I see the name, Mom. He answers. "Hey, Mom." I watch his face change as he listens. No, she's not still upset. I know. She'll get over it. "Yeah, I'll talk to her." He hangs up. I set down my coffee. What did she want? "She's upset that you left the reception early without saying goodbye." I laugh, a sharp, bitter sound. "I left early?" "Troy, it was midnight. The reception was over." "She just feels like you were rude." "I don't care what she feels," I interrupt. She humiliated me in front of 200 people. I don't owe her anything. His jaw tightens. She's my mother, Sophia. And I'm your wife. We stare at each other across the table, this new chasm opening between us. Finally, he looks away. Can we just enjoy the honeymoon? Please. So I do. I pretend everything is fine. I smile for photos. I hold his hand on the beach. But every night, I think about Vincent's card, hidden in my suitcase. And I count down the days until I can go home and call him. We get back to our apartment. A small 2-bedroom that Troy's parents own and generously let us rent at below market rate, which means Beatrice has a key and shows up whenever she wants. The first morning back, I'm unpacking when my phone buzzes. Unknown number. Hello. Sophia Kane? This is Vincent Moreau. You never called. My heart stops. We were on our honeymoon. I just got back. Forgive the intrusion. But I haven't been able to stop thinking about your dress. I'm opening a new mentorship program at my atelier in New York. 6 designers, 1 year, full stipend. I want you to apply. I sink onto the bed. Mr. Moreau, I'm not a fashion designer. I'm a teacher. You're an artist working in fabric instead of paint. The skill is transferable. The technique you used on that dress, I've been trying to revive that method for 20 years. You learned it from your family. You could teach my entire staff. I don't know. The application deadline is in 2 weeks. I'm emailing you the information now. Think about it. He hangs up. I sit there, phone in hand, feeling like the universe just cracked open. Troy walks in. Who is that? I look at him. Vincent Moreau, the fashion designer. He wants me to apply for his mentorship program in New York. Troy's face changes. New York? Sophia, we live here. You have a job. It's a year-long program with a stipend. You're not moving to New York. The words hang between us like a wall. And I realize he expects me to say no. To choose his life over mine. Just like he expects me to forgive his mother. To shrink myself to fit his family's expectations. For the first time, I wonder if I made a terrible mistake 3 weeks ago when I said I do. I don't tell Troy that I'm applying. I work on the application late at night after he falls asleep, in the tiny second bedroom we use as an office. Vincent wants a portfolio, photos of my work, descriptions of my techniques, an essay about why I create. I photograph my wedding dress from every angle, the lace catching light like spiderwebs covered in morning dew. I write about my mother, about learning at her knee, about how creating beautiful things makes me feel connected to her even though she's gone. I write about being told my art was worthless and why I refuse to believe it. 2 weeks later, I submit the application. 1 month later, I get the acceptance email. Ms. Kane, we are delighted to offer you a position in the Moreau Atelier Mentorship Program. I read it 3 times, hands shaking. Then I walk into the living room where Troy is watching football. I got accepted. He doesn't look away from the TV. Accepted to what? The mentorship program. In New York. With Vincent Moreau. Now he looks. Sophia, we talked about this. No, you talked about it. You said I wasn't going. You never asked what I wanted. His face hardens. What about your job? What about us? The program pays a stipend. And Troy, I take a breath. I think I need this. After the wedding, after everything with your mother, I need something that's mine. So you're just leaving? I'm asking you to support me. We stare at each other. Finally, he says, if you go, don't expect me to wait around. The words land like a slap. But underneath the hurt, I feel something else. Relief. Because now I know exactly where I stand. I leave for New York in September. Troy doesn't help me pack. His mother calls repeatedly, leaving voicemails about abandoning my marriage and selfish choices. I ignore them all. The atelier is in Soho, a beautiful old building with floor-to-ceiling windows and the smell of fabric and coffee. Vincent greets me the first day with a hug. Welcome. You're going to do extraordinary things here. There are 5 other men, all younger than me, all from prestigious design schools, all looking at me skeptically when Vincent introduces me as the talent I discovered at a wedding reception. But when Vincent asks me to demonstrate the a la lace technique, and I sit down with needle and thread and show them the painstaking process my mother taught me, the skepticism fades. "That's insane," whispers a girl named Chloe. "How long does that take?" "This piece. I study the sample I'm working on. About 40 hours. Vincent smiles. Sophia's wedding dress took approximately 6 months. It's a dying art form. She's one of maybe 10 people in America who can still do it properly. I feel something warm spreading through my chest. Pride. Recognition. Value. For the first time in months, I feel like myself again. That night, Troy texts, "Mom says you're making a mistake." I turn off my phone and sketch dress designs until 2 a.m., my mind finally quiet. 3 months into the program, my marriage is barely surviving. Troy and I talk once a week, conversations that are polite and hollow. Beatrice has stopped calling me entirely, which is honestly a relief. I'm working on my first original design, a cocktail dress using the lace technique, but modern, architectural. Vincent is impressed. "You're thinking in 3 dimensions. This is sculpture as much as fashion." The other men's have warmed up to me. We work late into the night, fueled by coffee and takeout, critiquing each other's work. Chloe becomes something like a friend. "Can I ask you something personal?" she says one night. "Why'd you leave your husband for this?" "I didn't leave him. I'm just choosing myself for once." She nods slowly. "My ex said I had to choose between him and design school. I chose school. Never regretted it." I think about that conversation for days. In December, Troy calls. "Are you coming home for Christmas?" "I don't know. I'm in the middle of 'my family wants to see you. Mom wants to apologize.'" I almost laugh. "Troy, your mom doesn't want to apologize. She wants me to apologize for leaving." Silence. Then, "Maybe we should talk. About us." "Yeah," I say quietly. "Maybe we should. But we don't. We just keep drifting further apart, and, honestly, I'm okay with that." January brings New York Fashion Week. Vincent is showing his main collection, but he's also doing something unusual, a small showcase of his men's work. 1 piece each, he announces. "Your best work. This is your introduction to the industry." I know immediately what I'm submitting. My wedding dress. Chloe looks at me like I'm crazy. "The dress your mother-in-law hated? That's risky." "It's honest," I say. "And it's the best thing I've ever made." Vincent agrees. "It's the piece that brought you here. It deserves to be seen properly." We spend 2 weeks preparing. Vincent hires a model who's my exact size. We do a photo shoot. The dress looks even more beautiful under professional lighting, every detail of the lacework visible. The showcase is scheduled for a small gallery in Chelsea. Vincent invites critics, buyers, and industry insiders. "Keep your expectations realistic," he warns. This is exposure, not overnight success. But the morning of the showcase, something changes. Vincent gets a call. He listens, his eyes widening, then he looks at me. "The New York Times fashion critic is coming." "And Sophia," he grins. "Your mother-in-law is on the guest list." My stomach drops. "What? How?" "She saw the announcement on social media. Apparently, she's telling everyone her daughter-in-law is showing at Fashion Week." I should feel angry. Instead, I start laughing. Perfect. Let her come. Let her see what yard sale curtains look like in a gallery. The night of the showcase, I'm terrified. I arrive early, watching the staff arrange the pieces on mannequins in the small, but elegant gallery space. My wedding dress is in the center, spotlit, elevated on a platform. It takes my breath away. Chloe squeezes my hand. It's stunning. She's going to eat her words. Guests start arriving at 7. I recognize fashion editors, designers, Vincent's colleagues. And then I see her. Beatrice Ashford, in a black cocktail dress and pearls, Troy at her side. My stomach twists. She sees me and waves, smiling like we're old friends. Like she didn't humiliate me 6 months ago. Troy looks uncomfortable. Good. Vincent takes the small stage as the gallery fills up. "Thank you for coming." Tonight, we celebrate 6 emerging designers who've spent the past months learning, creating, and pushing boundaries. Each piece you see represents not just skill, but courage. He talks about each mentee, their vision, their growth. Then he gets to me. Sophia Kane came to me under unusual circumstances. I discovered her work at her wedding reception, where, unfortunately, someone mocked this dress as cheap and homemade. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Beatrice's smile freezes. What they didn't understand is that homemade doesn't mean inferior. It means intimate, personal. This dress represents a dying art form, à la Salace, constructed entirely by hand using techniques passed down through 3 generations. He pauses. This isn't just a wedding dress. It's a masterpiece. And Sophia is one of the most talented textile artists I've encountered in 30 years. The room erupts in applause. And I watch Beatrice's face go absolutely white. After Vincent's introduction, people swarm my dress. The fashion critic from the Times spends 10 minutes examining the lacework with a magnifying glass. A gallery owner asks if I'd consider selling it. It's not for sale, I say. It's personal. Beatrice pushes through the crowd, Troy trailing behind her. She stops in front of me, and for a moment, she just stares. Sophia. Her voice is tight. I had no idea. No, I say calmly. You didn't. Because you never asked. You just assumed. Her mouth opens, closes. She looks at the dress, at the crowd of industry professionals admiring it, at Vincent talking to a reporter and gesturing toward me. I may have been hasty in my judgment, she says stiffly. You called it yard sale curtains, I remind her. In front of 200 people. You humiliated me on my wedding day. Troy steps forward. Soph, she's trying to apologize. No, she's not, I interrupt. She's trying to save face because she just realized she was wrong. I look at Beatrice. Do you know how long this dress took? 6 months. 200 hours of work. The lace is from my mother's wedding veil, the only thing I had left of her. And you called it trash. Beatrice's face flushes red. I didn't know you didn't care, I correct. There's a difference. Before she can respond, Vincent appears with the Times critic. Sophia, this is Vivian Chen. She'd like to interview you. I turn away from Beatrice without another word. And it feels like flying. The Times article runs 3 days later. Hidden talent. The art teacher reviving lost lace techniques. It features photos of my dress and quotes from Vincent about my skill. The article mentions my wedding, where family members dismissed her work as amateurish, not realizing they were witnessing museum-quality craftsmanship. The article goes viral. My phone explodes with messages from old friends, former students, people I haven't talked to in years. And then Troy calls. We need to talk. In person. He flies to New York that weekend. We meet at a coffee shop near the Atelier. He looks tired, older somehow. That article, he starts. Mom is really upset. I sip my coffee. I didn't write it. I just answered questions honestly. You made her look bad? She made herself look bad when she mocked my dress. He rubs his face. Sophia, she wants me to ask you to. I don't know, issue a statement or something. Clarify that she was joking. I set down my cup carefully. Troy, are you seriously asking me to lie to protect your mother's reputation? She's getting death threats on social media. That's not my fault. That's consequence. He looks at me like I'm a stranger. When did you become so cold? I almost laugh. When did I stop letting people treat me like garbage? Is that what you mean? We sit in silence. Finally, he says, I want a divorce. And I realize I've been waiting for him to say it. Okay, I say. Okay. He looks surprised. That's it? Just okay. What do you want me to do, Troy? Beg you to stay? You chose your mother over me every single time. This marriage ended at the reception. He leaves. And I feel lighter than I have in months. The divorce is quick and clean. No kids, no property to divide except the apartment his parents own anyway. By March, it's finalized. Beatrice sends me one email. I hope you're happy now. I don't respond. The mentorship program ends in June. Vincent offers me a job. I'm opening a new division focused on traditional techniques. I want you to lead it. The salary is triple what I made teaching. I accept. I find an apartment in Brooklyn, tiny but mine. I fill it with fabric samples and sketches and windows that let in perfect light. My first project at the atelier is creating a line of wedding dresses using traditional lace techniques. Affordable luxury, Vincent calls it. Art that real people can actually own. We launch in September, exactly 1 year after I moved to New York. The collection sells out in 3 days. Vogue runs a feature, Sophia Kane, the designer making bridal couture accessible. That's when the museum inquiry comes. The Metropolitan Museum of Art wants to feature my original wedding dress in their textile exhibit. It's the perfect example of traditional technique meeting contemporary design, the curator explains. Would you be willing to loan it? I think about Beatrice calling it yard sale curtains. About Troy looking away while she humiliated me. About every moment I felt small and worthless. Yes, I say. Absolutely yes. The Met exhibit opens in December, 2 days before what would have been my second anniversary. The opening gala is black tie exclusive, packed with celebrities and fashion royalty. Vincent insists I attend. This is your moment. I wear a dress I designed myself. Midnight blue, simple, elegant. No lace this time. I don't need it anymore. The textile gallery is stunning. My dress is displayed in a climate-controlled case, lit from below, rotating slowly on a platform. The placard reads, Wedding Dress 2023. Sophia Kane. Hand-constructed using à la sa lace technique. On loan from the artist. I stand in front of it, remembering the girl who made it. Who believed in love and family and fitting in. Who thought being small was the same as being safe. A voice behind me, it really is beautiful. I turn. Beatrice stands there in a black gown, looking older, tired. Troy is nowhere in sight. What are you doing here? I ask. She gestures to the dress. I wanted to see it. To really see it this time. We stand side by side, looking at the dress she once called trash, now displayed in one of the world's most prestigious museums. I owe you an apology, she says quietly. A real one. I was cruel. I judged you based on money and status instead of character or talent. I tried to make you feel worthless because I was threatened by you. I look at her. Why are you telling me this now? Because I lost my son. Her voice cracks. Troy and I barely speak anymore. He blames me for ruining his marriage. And he's right. I should feel vindicated. This is what I wanted, isn't it? For her to suffer. To lose something precious because of her own cruelty. But looking at Beatrice's face, I just feel tired. I'm sorry you and Troy aren't close anymore, I say. But that's between you two. It's not my responsibility to fix. She nods. I know. I just wanted you to know that I was wrong. About everything. You were never the problem. I was. She walks away before I can respond, disappearing into the crowd. Vincent appears at my elbow. Was that? Yeah, I say. It was. He studies my face. How do you feel? I look at my dress, at the people crowded around it, taking photos, reading about the technique, appreciating what I created. I feel free, I say. And I mean it. The rest of the gala is a blur of conversations, business cards, people wanting to commission work or collaborate. A gallery owner from Paris. A costume designer from Broadway. A professor from FIT asking if I'd teach a masterclass. By the end of the night, my head is spinning. Vincent drives me home, and before I get out of the car, he says, You know what the best revenge is? I smile. What? Becoming exactly who you were meant to be. I carry that thought upstairs to my apartment, pour a glass of wine, and sit by the window looking out at the Brooklyn lights. Somewhere across town, my dress is still rotating slowly in that gallery case, being admired by strangers who understand its value. And I realize I don't need Beatrice's apology. I don't need Troy's regret. I don't need anyone's validation. I have my own. 23 months after the Met exhibit, Vogue calls. They want to do a full profile, Sophia Kane, from classroom to couture. The writer spends a week shadowing me at the atelier, watching me work, interviewing Vincent and the other Mets. Tell me about the wedding dress, she says. Everyone knows the story now. But what was it like, actually being there? Being humiliated like that? I think about how to answer. It was the worst and best thing that ever happened to me. Worst because someone I loved stood by while his mother tore me apart. Best because it woke me up. I realized I'd been making myself small for years, trying to fit into spaces that were never meant for me. Do you regret the marriage? I regret not seeing the red flags sooner. But no, I don't regret it. Everything that happened led me here. The article runs in April with photos of me in my studio, surrounded by fabric and sketches. The headline, "The dress that changed everything." My phone explodes again. Job offers, interview requests, and one email that makes my heart stop. It's from Paris Fashion Week. They want me to show a collection. Not as a mentee or a newcomer, as a featured designer. I call Vincent immediately. "Did you see I saw," he says, laughing. "Book your flights. We've got 6 months to create the collection of your life." Creating a collection for Paris is the hardest thing I've ever done. 12 pieces, each one telling a story, each one pushing the boundaries of what's possible with traditional lace techniques. Vincent gives me complete creative freedom. "This is your vision. Your voice. Don't hold back." I work 18-hour days. The other designers at the atelier help. Chloe specializes in color theory, helping me choose a palette that feels modern but timeless. We settle on whites, creams, and one dramatic black piece as the finale. By September, the collection is ready. We pack everything carefully, ship it to Paris, and I fly over a week before the show to oversee final preparations. Paris is beautiful. The Fashion Week venue is overwhelming, massive, packed with press and buyers and celebrities. My show is scheduled for the second to last day, in a small but prestigious slot Vincent fought to get me. The night before the show, I can't sleep. I pace my hotel room, running through every detail in my mind. What if the models trip? What if the critics hate it? What if I'm not ready? My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. "Good luck tomorrow. You deserve this. Troy." I stare at it for a long time. Then I delete it and go back to pacing. I don't need his blessing anymore. I stopped needing it the day I left. The day of the show, I'm at the venue at 5 a.m. The models arrive at 7 for hair and makeup. My hands shake as I help them into the dresses, adjusting seams, smoothing fabric. Chloe appears with coffee. "Breathe. You've got this." The show is at 3 p.m. By 2:30, the venue is packed. I peek through the curtain and see faces I recognize from magazines, editors from Vogue, Elle, Harper's Bazaar. Celebrities in the front row. And in the back, almost hidden, I see Beatrice. She's alone, no Troy. Just watching, quiet. Vincent sees me looking. "Ignore her. Today is about you." The lights dim. Music starts, a haunting piano piece I chose myself. The first model walks. Then the second. Then the third. Each piece flows into the next, telling the story I wanted to tell, about transformation, about finding beauty in brokenness, about honoring the past while creating something new. The final piece, the black dress that took 3 months to construct, brings gasps from the audience. It's aggressive, architectural, powerful. Everything I felt but couldn't say during my marriage, translated into fabric and thread. The model walks to the end of the runway, pauses, and the lights cut to dramatic spots. The crowd erupts. People stand, applauding. I can hear them shouting brava. Vincent pushes me forward. "Go. Take your bow." I walk out onto the runway, my legs shaking, and the applause gets louder. Cameras flash. People are crying. And I let myself feel it, all of it. The pride. The vindication. The pure, undiluted joy of being seen. The reviews are incredible. A star is born. Kane's collection bridges tradition and innovation with breathtaking skill. The black finale dress is a masterpiece. Vogue Paris calls it the surprise triumph of Fashion Week. Buyers place orders. Boutiques want to carry my line. A major department store wants an exclusive collaboration. In 1 week, I go from emerging designer to legitimate name. Vincent hosts a celebration dinner at a Michelin-starred restaurant. The entire atelier team is there, plus critics and buyers and people I've admired from afar. During dessert, Vincent stands to make a toast. 2 years ago, I met Sophia at a wedding reception where someone told her she wasn't good enough. Tonight, she proved that person spectacularly, undeniably wrong. He raises his glass. To Sophia, who turned pain into art and made the whole world pay attention. Everyone drinks. I try not to cry and fail. After dinner, I'm walking back to my hotel when I hear footsteps behind me. Sophia, wait. I turn. Beatrice stands there, coat pulled tight against the cold. I know you probably don't want to talk to me, you're right. I don't. She nods. I just wanted to say, what you did today was extraordinary. And I'm sorry I wasn't there to see it the first time. At your wedding. I'm sorry I couldn't see what everyone else sees now. I look at her, really look at her. She's smaller somehow, diminished. The power she once held over me is completely gone. Thank you for saying that, I tell her. But honestly, Beatrice, I don't need your approval anymore. I don't need your apology. I just need you to understand that what you did to me, it didn't break me. It freed me. Her eyes fill with tears. I know. And I'll have to live with that. I turn and walk away, toward my hotel, toward my future. And I don't look back. 6 months after Paris, I'm opening my first standalone boutique in New York. It's small but perfect, in Soho, 3 blocks from Vincent's atelier. We call it Kane Atelier. The opening day is invitation only, packed with press and clients and friends. My designs line the walls, wedding dresses, evening wear, ready-to-wear pieces that blend traditional technique with modern sensibility. Each one is priced fairly, accessible to real women, not just wealthy collectors. The New York Times covers it. Sophia Kane opens boutique, continues mission to democratize luxury. During the opening reception, I give a short speech. 2 years ago, I was told my work was worthless. That it was cheap, embarrassing, not good enough. Today, I'm standing in my own boutique, selling designs to museums and department stores and brides who want something meaningful. I pause, looking around at the faces watching me, some I know, some I don't. This isn't about proving anyone wrong. It's about proving to myself that my voice matters. That my art matters. That I matter. The crowd applauses. Cameras flash. And I feel a completeness I've never experienced before. Later, as guests mingle and browse, my assistant approaches. There's someone asking for you at the door. She says her name is Beatrice Ashford, but she's not on the list. I take a breath. Tell her the boutique opens to the public tomorrow. She can come then like everyone else. The assistant nods and walks away. Through the window, I see Beatrice standing on the sidewalk, looking in. Our eyes meet for a moment. Then she turns and walks away, disappearing into the New York crowds. I feel nothing. No anger, no satisfaction, no regret. Just nothing. She's a chapter that's closed. Chloe appears with champagne. To the boss, she says, grinning. I clink glasses with her. To new beginnings. 1 year later, I'm back at the Met for a different reason. They're opening a permanent exhibit on textile arts, and my wedding dress has been acquired for their permanent collection. Not loaned, acquired. They bought it. It will live in that museum forever, a testament to traditional technique and personal resilience. The dedication ceremony is small, intimate. Vincent is there along with the curator and a few board members. They ask me to say a few words. I stand in front of the display case, looking at the dress I made in my tiny apartment while trying to be someone I wasn't. This dress represents a lot of things, I begin. It represents my mother's legacy, passed down through generations of women who created beauty with their hands. It represents hundreds of hours of work, of love, of hope for a future I thought I wanted. I pause. But mostly, it represents the moment I learned that other people's opinions of my worth have nothing to do with my actual worth. Someone called this dress yard sale curtains. Today, it's in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. The dress didn't change, but my understanding of its value and my value did. I look at the small audience. We live in a world that constantly tells us we're not enough. Not pretty enough, not rich enough, not talented enough. And sometimes, the people who are supposed to love us are the ones saying it the loudest. My voice strengthens. But here's what I learned. You don't need anyone's permission to be extraordinary. You don't need anyone's approval to chase your dreams. You just need to know, deep in your bones, that you are enough exactly as you are. The curator steps forward to officially unveil the permanent placard. It reads, Wedding Dress, 2023 Sophia Kane, born in 1997, Alissa Needle Lace, silk gift of the artist. This dress exemplifies the revival of traditional lace-making techniques and represents a pivotal moment in contemporary textile art. Created for the artist's own wedding, the piece was initially dismissed by family members as homemade and inferior. Its subsequent recognition by designer Vincent Moreau launched Kane's career and sparked renewed interest in endangered craft techniques. The dress stands as a powerful reminder that artistic value is intrinsic, not assigned, and that what others dismiss as worthless may, in fact, be priceless. I read those words and feel tears sliding down my face. Not sad tears. Grateful ones. After the ceremony, I walk through the museum alone, past impressionist paintings and Egyptian artifacts and medieval tapestries. My dress is in here with them. Part of history. When I finally leave, stepping out into the spring sunshine, I pull out my phone and scroll through the messages. Commissions from 3 new clients. An invitation to teach at Parsons. An email from a documentary filmmaker who wants to tell my story. And one message from Troy. I saw the exhibit. I'm proud of you. I'm sorry for everything. I stare at it for a long moment. Then I archive it without responding. Some apologies come too late. Some relationships aren't meant to be revisited. I walk toward the subway, toward my boutique, toward the life I built from the ashes of the one that burned down. My phone rings. Vincent. Sophia, you sitting down? Milan Fashion Week just called. They want you as a headliner. I laugh, pure and joyful. Send me the details. I'm in. As I descend into the subway station, I think about the girl I was 2 years ago, standing in that ballroom in her handmade dress, humiliated, heartbroken, certain she would never recover. I wish I could go back and tell her, this pain you're feeling? It's not the end. It's the beginning. The woman who tried to destroy you actually set you free. The dress she mocked will outlive both of you, hanging in a museum while people line up to see it. You will build an empire from the rubble she left behind. And the best part? You won't do it for revenge. You'll do it because you finally understand your own worth. I board the train, surrounded by strangers living their own stories. And I smile, because I know something they don't know yet. Sometimes the worst thing that happens to you becomes the best thing that ever happened. Sometimes being torn down is actually being set free. Sometimes the people who say you're not enough are really just scared that you're too much, too talented, too strong, too bright to be dimmed by their small, fearful view of the world. Beatrice Ashford tried to make me small. Instead, she made me unstoppable. And my dress, the one she called yard sale curtains, will be hanging in the Metropolitan Museum of Art long after both of us are gone, telling anyone who looks at it, you're enough. Your art matters. Your voice deserves to be heard. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. That's not revenge. That's resurrection. And it's the sweetest victory of all.